What it do is Shobeezy, the Shoboat, and you know Adam22's No Jumper podcast crew has pretty much turned into a soap opera. He has all these different hosts and their in-house drama ends up turning into content for him, completely separate from their actual podcast guests that come there for interviews. I call it the No Jumper universe. But the biggest drama now is one of their top hosts, Sharp, apparently crashed out and fired himself on his day off after watching a third-party YouTuber's video breaking down Sharp not getting amplified at No Jumper the way that he thought that he should be, and it triggered Sharp, and he quit.
No Jumper's in a whole different trajectory right now, and I don't think it involves me. It wasn't real enough to tell me to my face that it didn't involve me. It's just where it's at now. He's not that. I get that now, homie.
That's the oversimplified version in a nutshell. So then Adam22 responded with this video.
I will not be commenting on anything about drinking pee or sex dolls or whatever people in the chat right now are trying to tell me to talk about. None of that is my concern at all. Sharp said that he can tell that I talk bad about him to Lena, because when he would see Lena in the workplace, he could tell that she thought that she was better than him. Ooh, okay, let's talk about that. This pisses me the fuck off, because do you know how many times, now first off, some of you guys think Lena's like crazy, she's a porn star or whatever. Lena is the most tame, normal fucking girl on the face of the earth. And many times I had to sit there when she had a complaint about something with Sharp, and I had to sit there and I had to explain to her, listen, I'm not from the pimp world, but I understand that it works like this. So let's talk about it. This is the thing. This is why it's not that big a deal. This is why Sharp didn't mean what he meant when he said this. Me trying to explain it to her. Do I have to do this for other people sometimes? Yes, because Lena also doesn't understand like the gang shit. So sometimes I'll have to explain like, yes, Brick had the whoop-de-whoop in the spot. And yeah, I know it's kind of inappropriate to have the whoop-de-whoop in the spot, but hey, man, that's how he's living. This is a gang thing. It's different shit. You know, it's like same with Sharp. It's like the pimp shit. Yeah, he said this to this one girl. You got to understand, this is not our culture, so we got to kind of like take a step back and just like acknowledge that it is what it is, right? So that's me spending some significant percentage of my life defending Sharp to Lena. Why does Lena feel some type of way? He's not wrong. He's not wrong that Lena definitely probably feels some type of way about him. You want to know why? Ooh, this is the juicy part. Because there's been multiple times where Sharp, arguably under the influence of alcohol, at noon, at 1, at 2 p.m., whatever, when we're filming Plug Talk episodes at the office, there's been a couple different times where the girls who work for Plug Talk have had some shit said to them by him that was inappropriate, that was not great, that we didn't like. Those girls who work for Plug Talk, you know how you guys, right now you're thinking like, who? Yeah. I don't even put them on Front Street like that. We don't even really talk about them. We tag them and shit. One of them doesn't even have an Instagram. But we love them. They're amazing. They're so great as workers and shit. They're fantastic. And I want nothing but respect to be coming towards them at any given time. Because they're just girls with jobs, and they don't need to fucking get made fun of, or not made fun of. They don't need to get hit on. They don't need somebody to use the B word towards them. They don't need anyone giving them a hard time. This is a workplace. And I understand that to a random ass hoe, you could talk to them a certain way. And maybe in another situation, you might run into these girls and talk to them a certain type of way. And maybe they're like it. I don't fucking know. But either way, it's not appropriate for the workplace. And I believe that point has kind of been made to Sharp, like probably not from me, but from, Josh or Laura or whoever. I feel like people have probably like mentioned this to him, that it's like, there's just a way that you don't act in the workplace. And that is aggressive towards girls with that kind of energy, whatever. I think that like, there was probably other incidents as well. And Lena don't fuck around with that shit. Like, she don't want anybody being disrespectful to her girls. And me too. I feel the same way. And in addition to that, like, some of these girls that he's screamed at on the podcast over the years are also her homies. They're people that she fucks with that are in the same industry as her, you know, porn star girls. And so there's never really been a time where like some girl was really mad at me and Lena over something that Sharp said to them. But there was definitely times where it felt like it was going to go in that direction because he was just kind of wilding too hard to the point where it might have like kind of made us look bad or whatever. But it never even really got to some crazy extent, right? But it definitely was not something we approved of when it came to saying shit to the girls who work in the office, right? On the Plug Talk side. That's the only thing that I believe would make Lena feel any kind of way towards Sharp. It's just the fact that she doesn't fuck with like dudes being disrespectful to girls in the first place. She's very girl power. She's very like, she supports the girls. She doesn't really, you know, whatever guys are doing is kind of water under the bridge to her as long as the girls are being respected. And that's it, honestly. Like, if she ever felt like a way towards him or ever like in any way sort of acted as if she didn't care for Sharp or didn't like him too much, it was 100% that and nothing else. It's not like, you think I'm just laying around pillow talking to her and making her hate you? Like, I don't come home from work and talk about no jumper drama with her. There's so much no jumper drama that she has no idea about. And every once in a while, she'll like go look at the Reddit and she'll hit me up and be like, what about this thing? Like this person said this to this person. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I just don't want to, this is why. I don't want to be in the office all day where I like talk about a lot of these things on camera. I don't want to like come home and then have to talk about it again. Why would I want to do that? So I don't like fill her in. Like any Sharp drama over the last year, for sure she has no idea. I just don't mention it. So the idea that I'm like pillow talking and shitting on him to her is crazy. And the idea that like Sharp at one point was supposed to be on the No Jumper show and he's not because I only want yes men around me or whatever the fuck that narrative was. These are just cap narratives that are just made up out of thin air. And I don't understand where they come from besides the fact that it feels like Sharp's just kind of unhappy in life maybe right now, that he's just like not really feeling how things are going. And he's just like getting on stream and smoking a million cigarettes and just talking a bunch of shit. And I get that. That's cool, man. Like, I'm not mad at you about that. That's one way to go about things, but leave me the fuck out of it because I only ever have done things to support Sharp and to like put him on. And so if you're going to come and like come up with made up fake fucking narratives about how my girl secretly hates you because of something that I said to her, which again, no evidence for that. That's completely made up. And then on the other hand, you know, the other narrative of like, you know, the idea that like, he said like I didn't have the balls to have the conversation with him about how I was trying to stop his motion. Again, just totally made up. Like my contribution to your career in the last 6 months has been exactly the same as the contribution in the first 6 months. So the part that like everybody would agree was like good for Sharp on the channel the first year has been exactly the same as the last year. So from my perspective. So I guess I just wanted to air that out. Who knows what percentage of this will make it to the Reddit, which is the only place realistically that I'll see any kind of commentary about it. Anyway, that's pretty much it.
Now, since this video, Adam22 has responded to Sharp hella more times, and that's what we're about to get into, the most updated reactions from Adam22. So like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now let's dig into the beef.
Maturity is realizing the 22ster was the good guy all along, putting people in position, holding them down for long ass periods of time, even after they cease to be profitable. And all I really want is just a little smidge of creative control to try to keep the ship being steered in the right direction. And so often I'm told that I'm the problem. Well, I promise you this. I will continue to put on more hosts and build more characters. And when they leave and they get salty and they cry and complain and they play the victim, I will persevere. And the audience will continue to become smarter and smarter and realize more and more that they are being fed a load of bullshit by people who just couldn't cut it. 22 stood for president. Let's go. What's crazy about Sharp is that I always felt like Sharp was one of the good guys that was gonna keep it solid even when it became clear that his time was over and that, you know, he just wasn't pulling the numbers like the way they used to. You know, I felt like me holding my tongue over and over and over when the whole world was going at him, and I had infinite opportunities to make content out of him and to be critical of him. And, you know, it was just like obvious that there was shit that was worth criticizing. And over and over and over, I neglected those opportunities out of respect. And apparently that wasn't good enough. All it took was one YouTube video, which by the way has been removed from YouTube, to make him do the heel turn and basically just like not keep it solid and just act like a hoe on stream. Everybody sees it for what it is, so what am I gonna do? You know, this whole Sharp thing really kind of grinds my gears because let's be real. He fell off, stopped doing numbers, lost his aura, lost his fan base, got exposed by a girl for being into all kinds of freaky shit. And somehow I never acknowledged it, never talked about it, never even, you know, never did anything to acknowledge the reality of what was happening. And then he still did some bitch ass shit and went on his stream and decided to try to like, you know, expose some shit. Try to like act like he's a victim or some shit. Well, guess what? Now you're not on No Jumper anymore. Your aura is still gone and it ain't coming back. I hope you enjoy this temporary clout infusion that you've gotten of like an extra 2,000 live viewers because they're leaving, they're not coming back. It's just like, why does everyone have to do this bitch ass shit every time? Sharp. I saw a clip of you saying basically that your views are down because of No Jumper, that because you were associated with No Jumper, that when it came down to it, your views are our fault. Well, now you're no longer associated with No Jumper. And as a result, it would make sense to me that now you would experience some gigantic surge in views and that you would be experiencing an extremely prosperous channel going forward. I'd just like to know, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen, Sharp? You tell me.
So me personally, I think it's crazy that Sharp let a random YouTuber make him crash out and trick him out of his spot. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did Sharp fumble his opportunity, or was it Adam22's fault for never addressing Sharp in private about the issues that he was hearing behind the scenes and his decreasing views? As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Show Beezy, I'm out.